I didn't even put it out there that I was going to quit my career job. I was in National Grid.
I remember.
I was making almost $40 an hour back in 2017, 16, which was huge.
Yeah.
You know, and I was there for a while. I worked very hard to get in that position, and you know, we put together a game plan. And I remember the day where you told me, "Yo, you could quit now."
Yeah.
That to me is priceless.
That's just fire. That's just fire.
I tell you, it was the hardest decision I made.
I remember.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna believe in it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna believe in myself.
Yeah.
You know, and we're gonna make this happen.
This
and
whole
that
thing
brings me back to what your mom told me, the OG. And she told me, I just want you to do one thing. Like, just remember that RJ is RJ and Ronnie is Ronnie. So when RJ gets paid, that doesn't mean Ronnie gets paid. It's two separate things.
You started hanging up TVs, bro.
Yeah.
You had a lot of success during COVID.
Yes.
But when COVID was gone, you knew you had to pivot, and you pivot before COVID left.
Yes.
You changed your logo. I remember rebranding.
Yes.
You rebranded. You took the TV out. You said, because you noticed my business is gonna fail. All right, man. How you doing, Ronnie?
Feeling great. Thank you guys for the invitation.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
This is the first podcast that I host by myself. I personally wanted to do this one because I was there with you through the whole journey, and I feel like a non-equity partner. Trademark.
Love it.
You know what I mean? So
trademark. And I consider you a non-equity partner.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you
never know.
Never know.
Never know.
And I've always said it. If I'm ever to consider business partners, it's got to be someone from this firm, man. And it's because of the dedication and, you know, communication skills that you guys have shared with me, showed me on a month-to-month basis. And, you know, like you said, you've been part of this journey with me, man. I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you.
You know, thank you, man. Thank you for you doing what you're doing.
Thank you, man. I know I put in the work out in the field.
100%.
But what matters the most is the numbers. And I was out there doing work and not understanding the numbers.
Yeah.
Right? We got to understand what we're doing out there and what's the purpose behind it. The purpose really is, and it comes down to the numbers. And I didn't know what profitability was. I didn't know what a P&L was. I didn't know what an ROI was. And throughout the years, man,
you got to another level, finance-wise, not only business-wise, and all around.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed throughout helping a lot of business owners is what I've done for people, what we've done for people as a team, and there's been a couple podcasts that they have mentioned that has been we help people with confidence and believe in you. I've had people tell me, yo, my family didn't believe in me, bro, and you believed in me.
Yeah.
And look where I'm at now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's what I've noticed that we can do. And the reason why we can do it is because we know the numbers. Mm-hmm. So there's times when I'm seeing the numbers and I'm like, yo, does RJ even know that he's doing this dope shit? Like, how does he know he's growing, you know, at, 200%?
Yeah.
Year over year, you know what I mean?
But I was so, like I said, going back to your point, I was just focused on the day-to-day routine and running the business. And going back to your point, man, you implemented that in me because you believed in me. Well, I want to say what no one else did. I didn't even put it out there that I was going to quit my career job. I was in National Grid.
I remember.
I was making almost $40 an hour back in 2017, 16. Which was huge, you know, and I was there for a while. I worked very hard to get in that position, and you know, we put together a game plan. It took 90 days.
Yep.
I remember the day where you told me, "Yo, you could quit now."
Yeah,
that to me is priceless.
That's just fire. That's just fire.
Because I would have never thought. I would tell you, it was the hardest decision I made.
I remember,
and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna believe in it.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna believe in myself.
Yeah,
you know, and we're gonna make this happen. And with your guidance, with your help, support, your team support, most importantly, you know, Toby, Rob, Stefania, everybody, you know, you guys have all been great and, you know, really fostered a lot and contributed a lot to my success.
I love that.
Throughout the years, man.
You know, and we're going to continue to do that. Remember, off camera, I had told you it's amazing what you've done in 5 years. So let's start.
Yeah.
Let's start where we actually met. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know this, but we have a mutual friend that we follow, right?
I know.
And I saw your TV installation, and this was around the summer of COVID. And I'm in my house, I've lived in that house for about 4 or 5 years at that time. And I'm like, since I'm stuck in my house, right? I'm spending so much time in my house. I'm like, damn, my TVs are whack. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at this shit, it's like crooked, wires all over it. And then I'm like, I see Ronnie's joint and his show, the lights and all the stuff you did. So I'm like, yo, let me reach out. So I DM'd you.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember.
And then,
I remember. And shout out to Carlito Cortez.
There you go.
And, the reason why I mentioned that is he's been supporting me way back to when I was a barber.
That's dope.
To when I was a barber, actually next door right here, People's Barbershop.
Nice. Shout out to Sucre.
Shout out to Sucre. Also has contributed a lot to, to knowledge that I've gained throughout the years. But Carlito Cortez, he posted us. You reached out.
So you got a couple other people.
Got a couple other people, and I really did implement the power of social media to be able to grow the business and clientele. But back to your point, man, it was amazing to see that, one person posted us, you found us, I went out to your house to do the work. Right. I was out doing...
I'm sure that was probably your first long one up in Manchester. That was
the first one.
Yeah, because
I was still working at National Grid.
Yeah, I remember.
And I did it late night. I remember we went over there after 5, 6 p.m.
It was dark.
It was dark. And I was kind of nervous to work at your house, I'm not going to lie. But because when you start something, you're nervous because you're learning, right? Now we can do it with our, our eyes closed. But back then I was like, damn, I got to, and I see the beautiful property. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I honestly remember, right? Like I remember you walking in and be like, and then you seeing me, and you're like, damn, we're the same. And then you're like, yo, this is a nice house. Yeah. And I remember you looking at it. I remember looking at your eyes, and I was like, you're gonna have one of these.
Yeah, you told me that.
I was like, you're gonna have one of these. Don't worry. I
remember you told me that in your garage.
Yeah.
I saw the Q7, and back then you had a
550. The
sports car.
Yeah, the 550.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, I want to live like this one day.
I remember that. Yeah, and I told you you will.
Day. And you told me you will, and I was like, it seemed impossible at the time, and now it's reality.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I seen your house, and I told you this the one time. I was like, yo, remember this? We talked about the story. I'm like, yo, you got a bigger house than mine. And I was like, yo, isn't that dope? Isn't that dope, right? Like, yo, seeing you flourish and get to that. And when I met you, you didn't have kids.
No.
And, you were just, and you had told me, we actually even connected because my cousin, a shout out to Eddie, yes. He went to school with you and you were like, oh, that's your cousin? Yes. I don't know how we talked about him, but we understood.
Yeah.
And it just, the synergy was just there. And I remember telling you, yo, let's meet for then. And obviously, as a business owner, what I did, believed in you and all that shit, but also what I did, I was like, yo, let me sit with you.
You're a shark. I give it to you.
Yeah, let me sit with you. I'm gonna put your business. Yeah. We're gonna open up the LLC. We're gonna do this shit right.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember the first year, we had like a loss in the business, right? Because you got to invest, you got to buy the trucks, you got to do all these stuff. So I remember having that loss, and I'm like, yo, and that was your last year that you had a W-2.
Yes.
So I was like, I've had a lot of business owners who transition from W-2 to business owner, and the best part of that year is because you invested in your business, you get to get a loss, and because you've paid taxes on your W-2, you get to get more of that tax money back.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We got a nice little refund to then reinvest it back in the business.
Reinvested it back into the business.
And then that was the last time you had a loss.
Amen to that. So what I did with that tax return money is I bought 2 vans, cash. I remember telling you. And then, like you said, that was the last loss, thank God. And, we're just going to keep going up from here. Thank you again, bro. I go back to the day that I met you back at your house, and it was, to a lot of times I have my biggest challenge is sitting back and thinking about what's really going on because I'm so focused on, building the business, success, and keeping the pipeline full for the team.
Yep.
And I'm so focused on that like I have a hard time taking a moment and like, reflecting.
Correct. And I know that. I know that. And I also tell you that that's a good thing because people get too comfortable. I've told you that. Like, continue, better be that who you are.
Yeah.
We'll have this moment to reflect
on
your success. And then when we get out of here, back to the hustle.
Back to the hustle.
And it's, I'm looking at these numbers, man, and I obviously I never talk about like the numbers, but just the percentage of increase in the business in 2 years. I'm talking about 23 to 24 is amazing. So you started this back in 2020, right?
Yes.
2020, so I'm not even going to those numbers. If I was to look at those numbers to compare to 2024, it's crazy because your business is growing like in 2-3 years, like 200%.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And like I said, a lot of times, unless you look at the numbers and the stats, it's hard to see it because I'm so caught up in the day-to-day routine in the business, which is a whole nother topic.
Right. And then you also, because I also, so this is amazing how things work, right? Because helping you, this is why it's dope. That's why non-equity partner, helping you grow, helping all this. But now you also have a nice team that I know them personally because now they do their taxes with us, right? And I love to see their growth. And now you're not only helping Ronnie and RJ, you're helping other people grow. And now you're not responsible for you and your family. Like you just said, I have to get things in the pipeline because I got to feed my squad. And now when you're thinking like that, it's a whole different type of ball game. You know what I mean? Now it's like, now you're just not a self-employee. Now you're, you're running a business.
A business, and that was the dynamic that was the hardest to understand. When I hired my first full-timer, and he was essentially a helper, and I took on the responsibility, but I didn't take it lightly because I wanted this to be a long-term thing, not come in, train him 2-3 months, and then he's gone because he's not liking it, not getting paid enough, or whatever. I have, shout out to, the guys in my team. I have Felix and Francis. They've been with me since day one. Wow. Since 2021. So, and it's crazy because that means I'm doing something right. And I put them before me. The reason being is they're frontline. I consider them like Navy SEALs, right? I give them a task, I give them the mission, they go out, they execute, come back, and they're really good at what they do. It's been great throughout the years where I don't have to go out there for too much quality control because they know how I like things done and what should be done for the client to be content. Perfect. And that's been the biggest success trait is the team. That is
the biggest, the team. And while you continue to grow, you're going to see that there's just you helping people grow. They're going to help you grow. Like you had mentioned at one point, like, you never know if you have partners, right? I've got to the point where I've had partners exit. I've had I retired with my first partner, so you go through these business things and then you realize, RJ's installation, even though it has your name, it's its own thing.
Entity.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
That brings me back to what your mom told me, the OG.
Yes.
Back in South Broadway, you guys didn't have this location.
That's right.
The very same day that you registered my LLC, I was walking out of the back office, and she told me, and she's a woman of very little words.
That's right.
I took it very serious. She's like, I just want you to do one thing. And you also told me the same. She's like, just remember that RJ is RJ and Ronnie is Ronnie. So when RJ gets paid, that doesn't mean Ronnie gets paid. It's two separate things. And man, that stuck with me.
Good,
that stuck with me. You told me the same thing, a month or two later?
Yeah.
So it was something that runs in the family. Clearly it works.
Yeah, that's it. Shout out to the OG.
Shout out
Mom
to the
Dukes.
OG,
Mom Dukes. I'm very blessed to have a mother like that.
Yes.
It's funny because a lot of us, I tell the community, I tell people, like, I share my mother. There's people who are very, like, jealous, like, nah, that's my mom. It's like, nah, I'm like, that's all our mom.
I love
You know what I mean? Like, we all I'm gonna share the wealth with that because I think what I've learned from my mom, since I was a kid back in Harlem when she had a supermarket in Harlem and stocking and doing all the things that I saw her do. For a single mom to do that, it really, really put something in me. And struggling and hustling and doing these things. Also, one of the things she taught me the most is that it's like separate yourself from money. Separate yourself from money, bro. Yeah. You use the money for the business to grow as a tool. As a tool. And I've never been ambitious for money because of that, but I've always been ambitious for growth.
Yeah, and that's one thing you taught me.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I understood, because I'm really not in this for the money. The money's coming with it.
That's right.
I remember you guys telling me that, both you and Rob.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're in this to, to serve the community in whatever way that you can. But, don't really do it for the money. Do it for the purpose behind it.
Correct.
And that purpose was the team.
And you started that, right? You started that way. Now I want to talk to you about your transition to fatherhood. Right? Because you started, your first baby was RJ Installations, which, by the way, was RJ TV Installations. And I want to give you props because you pivoted. You were smart. You started. So we're going to get to the family in a bit, but I do want to touch this point. But you started hanging up TVs, bro.
Yeah.
That was your thing. And it was dope. It was you had a lot of success during COVID.
Yes.
But when COVID was gone,
yes,
you knew you had to pivot. And you pivot before COVID left.
Yes.
You changed your logo. I remember rebranding.
Yes.
You rebranded. You took the TV out. You said, because you noticed my business is gonna fail.
Yeah.
And you switched to a whole different business. Earlier today, you told me, I still hang up TVs, but that's like pro bono work.
Yeah.
I do that just because I'm not gonna shit on somebody. I don't want to say no to people.
I don't want to be rude and act like we're too big.
Yeah.
When that's not the case. I consider us very small.
Yeah, I feel you.
But, to your point, yes. So back in 2020, right, around time where COVID was ending, I remember saying to myself, all these people were posting my work online. Social media was really, going crazy as far as posts and people, contacting us through social media. But I kind of sat down and I said, how long can this really go for? Right?
That's right.
It's only a matter of time until people realize they can go online, buy the LEDs, get a Walmart yourself.
Or go outside.
YouTube it, go
now
outside.
We can go to the movies. We don't be
whatever. People were home day in and day out, so that's what was helping me. The business was 100% residential.
That's right.
But I realized that there needed to be more to the business, and I needed to implement new services. So what I did is I remember my mom's house. I'm like, you know what? Let me try to put cameras up here. And I bought a system myself online. And right on a table like this, I just hooked up wires and YouTube and, the programming, the DNS and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? This is not too hard. Now, the hardest part is getting it through the home structure, the business structure. How am I going to do this? So I used my mom's house as a dummy. It didn't come out too well, but I learned.
That's right.
I learned. I got the system up. Her cameras still to this day are working. That's when I implemented the security service in the business because I understood that in order to succeed and to keep the pipeline, full, I got to be able to offer more than one service.
Correct.
And that's when I implemented the security cameras.
Yeah.
And so far, so great.
No, it's been great. I mean, I've spoken to mutual people that you've done work for, like 20, 50 cameras put in their businesses stuff. I mean, you did a school that my daughter went to high school for in Tinsboro. Like when you went that whole school, like you
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My daughter went there.
Wow, amazing. Yeah.
And my sister too. My sister graduated. Yeah. So when you told me you was doing that project,
they found us online. They saw that we do AV, and they saw that we have another department that's security, and they hired us. The last thing I would have ever thought, mind you, when these businesses and schools and organizations reach out to us, there's a fire lit up on my behind, bro. It's like, get up, time to execute. The calls are coming in, so what are you gonna do to execute and make sure that client is satisfied? And it's funny enough that you mentioned that we're doing work in that school in about a week or two. Still to this day, they contact us. During the summertime is when we stay busiest there because, it's out of school. Kids are out of school, so.
Nice.
But yeah, man.
Hey, you've been having some big contracts. Also a friend of mine who, I won't say names, but he has big businesses and told me like, oh yeah, I used the RJ. And I was like, oh yeah, that's my guy. And so I hear you. I'm driving. A lot of times I'm driving, and I see your vans in places all the time. And obviously I know you're not in there, but I know they're working.
know what? Fun fact: a lot of times, let's say business is slow, and I already got my task done for the day. I'll hop in the van and drive around. Nice. It's a driving billboard, and I've gotten phone calls like you can't imagine just by driving the van around. Nice. And having that big camera on the van and reminding people, protect your home or your business. In fact, that's what has driven let's say the little success that I've had, or the large amount of success that I've had in the 5 years, is being relentless. Even though business is slow, I'll get my tasks done for the day. I'll hop in a service van and drive around. Listen to a podcast. Yep. Listen to whatever it may be to calm my mind and know that work is going to get, it's going to be good again. The pipeline's going to be full again. But I won't waste time. I don't waste time. I'm not, I can't be a couch potato. Yeah. I'll get in that work van and drive and try to, door knock, bring out brochures to businesses and bring the business if it's not coming to me.
Yeah, that's the entrepreneurial mindset that you have, and you're always gonna be able to continue to be successful because you think like that. Thank you. I've seen, obviously, you're a client, we do your books, so we see your bank statements and all stuff, and I seen you have a good amount of cash in the business account and still be urgent. That's what makes business owners. That's why some people can do it and some can't, because some people don't have that urgency, so they just, and that's fine. Yeah. Because they live less stress. Mm-hmm. They just want to go do their job. Mm-hmm. They don't want to worry about that. Business owner doesn't have a clock out time. No. Sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m. and me and my brother have conversations. Like, I know my brother sometimes will walk in, and Toby knows it, and he'll be like, damn, I was up at 2 a.m. And once I know that he woke up at 2 a.m, I know all he was doing was working. All the way to 5 a.m. when he went to the gym. Yeah. And then to go to work, because it's your brain once your brain starts. Your brain. And as an entrepreneur, same thing, man. I've had times where I wake up at 3 a.m. and before I went to sleep, I was thinking about how to, get through that challenge at a job site. But at 2 a.m., that idea came to my mind. You got to get up.
My brain wakes me up. I write it down. I'll text it to myself. And it's like, man, if it wasn't for that drive, I wouldn't even get through the next day because I had that challenge, that big challenge to get through in order to get paid.
Yeah. If you didn't have that mind, I would have. If I didn't see that in you, because I deal with so many people. I could say thousands of people that I've dealt with in the 20 years in business. I can tell you that when I see somebody doesn't have it, I tell you stay in your $40 an hour job. I would have never told. I would say, stay as a side hustle. This is dope for you, but stay with National Grid. Just do this shit on the side so you can pay for your family's vacation and stuff like that. But once I saw it in you, I was like, this kid got it.
Thank you.
He can do it. You know what I mean? And you did it. Yeah. So no, thank you for not letting me be a liar. And for because
I would say I give that shout out to my own mother, and it's because she raised me on her own, but with structure.
That's right.
With structure. That lady got structured to the point where, she did it all on her own, and thank God she was able to raise me with morals, respect, and structure, man. To know that you got to have a routine in order to become successful.
Now that you say that, I'm also a believer of karma, universe, God. I have all of that, believe in that. And I do believe the people who have that for their parents, like that are grateful for their parents and focus on what they did for them, somehow they become successful or happy, at least happy. And I remember there was a time, I forget how many years ago or whatever, but you had told me, hey, my mom is going through a financial thing. You think I can distribute? Because you always call me to make sure when you're distributing money from the company, you're like, you take this money to help my mom? And I was like, for your mom, bro, take everything. You know what I mean? Do whatever you got to do to take care of, Mom Dukes, because I know that comes back.
Yeah. And what it was her car was breaking down. She couldn't get to work. So I was stopping, I remember she drove a work van one time to her job. That's how real it is. I gave her a work van. I'm like, Ma, here, if that's the situation. She couldn't drive my personal vehicle. She didn't feel comfortable. And give her a work van. She was going around in my work van for 2 or 3 days.
So you handle that.
I handle it for her. But within that time frame, I said, I got to help her get another vehicle, you know?
That's what I mean.
And we did just that, man.
I remember that. And I saw that, and I was like, yo, that's good. This guy, he got his morals straight. So you didn't, I just found out right now, you told me everything about your mom, how she raised you, and I already knew that. That about who? By just knowing you.
Yeah, honestly, my wife, man, she knows. It's like when we first started dating, she knew how important my mother was to me, and she knew that came first.
Perfect segment to family. First. Let's go to family. You just mentioned the wife. I know your wife. She's amazing. Let's start there. So you met your wife. Were you dating when I met you? Back 5 years ago?
No, I was not. No, when you met me, so we dated in high school.
Okay.
And then she went to college. I did my own thing. I never really took things serious, which was the best thing that happened, right? Because we weren't mentally ready.
Correct.
So a couple years down the road, I was cutting hair at Sucre's barbershop, and we met, right? We met again, and we went out, started dating again. And fun fact, when we started dating, I didn't know what it was to save $5,000, man. And my wife, I kind of got goosebumps thinking about it, man, because it's like she had her structure, her own structure from her mother, her single mother, and it was the fact that she would go to Market Basket to work, and at the end of the week, she would give her mother the paycheck of the week, and her mother would say, okay, here's $100, you got that to spend. But at the end of the month, her mother would bring her to the bank and tell her, okay, this is how much you saved up because you only spent what I gave you. Look how much you got now at the end of the month. So that implemented a structure in my wife that still to this day, we're implementing it with the kids.
That's dope. That's a good one.
You know?
That's a good one.
And it's priceless to me. I couldn't be more grateful for her because I don't think the business would even be where it's at if I didn't meet her.
I agree. You
know?
And then without the kids, I don't think it'll be where it's at neither. No. That's all drive. It gives you drive.
The
purpose. That's the purpose. So let's get to the purpose. So how many kids you have, Ronnie?
2 boys.
2 boys.
A 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Time flies. 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
So correct me if I'm wrong. At one point when you have kids and you know, when you're having kids that young, it's hard for both parents to work. At any point, was the business able to sustain the family? So she could stop working?
Still to this day, man. Thank God.
So she has to work.
3 years, she's been a stay-at-home mom.
And then I remember, because I know she was staying at home, and I saw the kids. I think it was around when, I'm not sure if you had your second kid yet, but I know at one point we sat down, maybe last year. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was last year, maybe you had the second kid. But we sat down and I said, yo, there's a lot of work that I see that you're doing that you can hand it off to her. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And I said, and then you pay her hourly, her salary. Not you. No, sorry. Right. RJ Installations, not Ronnie. And I said, that way you delegate some work to her. She gets a paycheck. And you know, everybody's this is now it's a family business. Yeah. Right? If you look at my family, that's what we're about, right? You have my sister, my brother, my cousin, my mom. And that's what it is. It's like let's just all pay each other so we can, you know, work together. Yeah. And talk to me about how do you feel? Because that was your first, I think, a little delegate. Because I know you have, like, and this is your entrepreneurial way, your business owner mindset of having control, giving some delegating some of that work to her. Because I remember you struggled a little bit with it.
I did struggle with it. And you know, the fact that we have two babies, you know, and the newborn at the time was very hard. So I would only give her bills to pay.
Yeah,
She would call companies to, you know, for accounts payables, accounts receivables, and things like that. So it was great. But most recently, a couple months back, her mom got really sick.
Oh, wow.
And actually, right when my youngest son was born, her mom was really sick, landed in the hospital, and then from there to a nursing home. So what I did, the reason why I bring that up is I told her, I don't want you to do more or get involved in the business. We got something bigger to take care of, which is your mom, right?
Good man.
So she was in a nursing home, but I told her, yo, give me no more than 90 days and we'll get her out of there. And we got her out of there, man.
Nice.
We got her out of there. So remember, I called you and I told you, yo, I'm going to spend some money because I got to build out my
that.
base.
You're right. Yeah, and then you also told me you were gonna have to. She was basically leaving RJ so she can take care of her mom. You're right. I do remember that.
So that transition kind of, I told her to worry about the business less.
100%.
And worry more about, her mother and the kids, which she's been doing. And she still helps me with the business.
Yeah, dope. Because remember what you said earlier, she knew about how important your mom was to you.
Yeah.
So you did the right thing, my man.
Yeah,
you take care of her mom she's your mom.
Thank you.
You know.
And I'll be honest with you, man, God is real, bro, because, we've been nothing but blessed. When you take care of the people that take care of you, bigger things happen.
100%. I lived that. My business partners, I always tell them, yo, I don't ever want to grow. So I'm the type of person, I never want to have a pie and all of us have the same slice. Yeah. So even when I had half of the pie, I'm working to get my joint gets smaller so they could get bigger. So we've been the same. Same thing I told you earlier. Like, I'm proud that you have a bigger house than me. I want everybody to have a bigger house than me because I'm happy in my house, and if everybody's bigger than me, then we're all big. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why people don't get that concept.
Yeah.
There's always a competition with people, and it's like, bro, you crazy. No. I love when people have a better car than me, a better house, because I'm content with what I'm doing. Yes. So that means that you're doing great too.
And that's why you are where you are today, because you're not focused on what the other man is doing, and there's no jealousy behind it, right?
100%.
You're actually happy for them, and you've been happy for my success, and you've been 100%. Happy for the decisions that I made, and that's why you are where you are, man. I try to always remain the same as well. I'm always happy for another person. If I can help in any way, I will help. New entrepreneurs out there who have came to me, and I don't know it all.
Yep.
But I've figured something out.
So you know something.
So I know something that I can help you with, right? And I'm always a helping hand, man.
That's dope. Back to the business. I would say the business. You're reaching the point where now, and I think we spoke it off camera as well. You're gonna reach the point now where you're gonna have to make a decision. Do I stay here or do I want to grow? And the hardest part about the growth part for the next stage, the few $1 million shit, it's hiring, you're doing that. It's letting go. Mm-hmm. So that's before the hiring, before the bigger team that you'll have, you're going to have a bigger team of people who run business. And for that to happen, you have to have a one-on-one with yourself, go on a retreat by yourself. I think Toby took 2 weeks ago, he went to a cabin all by himself, which is crazy. With no internet, no shit, nothing. I can't do that.
A mental reset.
Yeah. Left his family here. Went by himself off the grid. He read a book. He read 2 books and shit. Smoked some cigars.
Should have put him on National Geographic.
But, I would recommend you in the future, not now, this has to be this year, in the future sometime, to do that and ask yourself that. Like, yo, am I ready to let go of some of the decisions and hire to help me make decisions, and know that maybe the person I'll hire or the team I hire or whatever it is, the decisions that they make, I might not agree with it, but I'm gonna let go and because that was the hardest part from taking it to the next level for JBS. It was me letting go of things. I remember my brother one time said, yo, your identity is JBS. And until you don't really find your own identity, it's going to be hard for JBS to grow, right? And
it's hard to understand that.
Hell yeah. But I had kids. I had a wife, I have a family. So it gave me more, letting go of the JBS, and I focus more on them. And be like, and what's just like faith. I'm still here because my brother, when my brother was made CEO, one of the things he told me, like, bro, don't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, JBS still needs you and wants you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So don't go nowhere. So I focused a little bit more on my family, continue to focus on JBS, and went back to more focusing on clientele instead of on the business.
Yep.
So then what happened was, now my family had more time with me, more of my thing. And my clients got their Alex back. Because for a couple of years, I was just delegating all the stuff to other people. So it'd be hard to communicate. It got to the point where people would come and say, tú eres más difícil que el presidente. You're harder than Obama to get to find, and it's because I'm working on the business. So it was able to give me more happiness, believe it or not, letting go, and it's not letting go, it's just uniting, having more people have power. And JBS grew like 300%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the power of delegating.
Power of delegating,
yeah,
man.
So I'm at that stage where it's like, I know I have to delegate.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You make a decision if you want
to. Make
a
decision, but for the sake of the growth of the business and long-term sustainability, I got to do it. Because what if something happens to me?
That's right.
I always tell my wife, I'm like, what if something happens to me? How's the business going to continue to run? It's not going to.
It's not going to.
I do everything.
Yeah.
Except for the field work.
Yeah.
Myself and Gerald, who's my right hand, my shadow.
Nice. I know Gerald. Good guy.
Yeah,
shout out to Gerald, by the way.
Shout out to Gerald.
Yeah, shout out.
Me and Gerald run the business.
Yeah.
And if God forbid something were to happen to him or myself, there's going to be some serious issues, right? Because we run all the operations behind the sales, the shipping and receiving, the payroll, the inventory. There's a whole lot behind. So him and I run like 11 departments on our own.
Yeah.
And, accounts payables and receivables. Well, and it's like, you're right,
Shout out to you for having a number two. Because there was a point where there was no number two. No. So at least I already know if something happens to Ronnie, Gerald,
Gerald
he'll hit me up. We'll set it up. We'll do this. You know what I'm saying? And he'll got the business, and your family will be taken care of.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
And the guys' families will be taken care of.
Which that's what was the most important.
Fun fact: he's handling things while I'm here. I told him, hey, I got a podcast. Won't be. Oh, don't worry about it. He's sending out 4 estimates while we're here. Yeah. Which can bring in production, and that's the main focus is to be able to grow. Once again, to your point. Yeah. I had to delegate my tasks because I couldn't do it all on my own. And the reason why we had an increase in revenue is because I brought in, a right hand and a shadow.
Yeah.
So,
and that's it. That's the key. That's the key.
Right.
Give yourself more time. Give other people more opportunities. Mm-hmm. The business grows. The people grow. Everything's, you're just happier.
Yeah.
And it's just letting go a little bit. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard.
So fun fact I just want to bring it to light, man, because fun fact about Gerald, he started as a cameraman for us.
Okay.
He started just like going out to job sites and recording work. And I remember he would, I met him at a networking event and he would just go out with his cameras and whatnot. And this one specific job site, we're on the way back and he sees me stressing. We were already working for like 2 months already. He's like, yo, everything okay? I'm like, nah, Gerald, I'm having to go out to the field to do work on my own. And the operations of the business are going down the drain because I'm not keeping up with phone calls, estimates, emails, you name it. He's like, man, that sucks. I'll keep an eye out. I'll think about one of my friends that could come in and maybe that you can interview. And I'm like, I'm driving. We were almost getting home. I'm like, Gerald, what if you start? He's like, nah, man, I never grabbed a drill my whole life. I'm like, I'll teach you. You're coachable. I like your mindset. Instead of working with someone else, I want to work with you. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I appreciate the opportunity. So, number one, there's appreciation behind it. Number two, he has a vision because he's like, I've never grabbed a drill, but if you teach me, I'll do it. So he started as an assistant, helping out with security cameras and AV work. And then I knew that wasn't his gift. He's too organized. He's very smart when it comes to tech.
Yeah, you want to use the skills. You want to put him in the right where he can succeed.
Yeah,
where
he can skill set. So I'm like, I slowly started implementing, office responsibilities to him, and that was the best thing I did because he knows the business in and out now.
You know what you did there, Ronnie? The same thing that would happen in my house when I first met you. That I believed in you, gave you confidence. You did that to him. Mm-hmm. he didn't. So sometimes we as human beings, we need somebody else to believe in us, and then we'll do it. But we walk around a lot of times not believing in ourselves, and that's just normal. It's what it is. So when you have someone that can do that, like that's a mentor, like you are a mentor to him, he's learning skills.
Yeah, he's learning skills.
I tell my young guys, especially like Gene. Gene is an enroll agent. Shout out to Gene. Kid is young. He's on another level. And I tell him, bro, take advantage of all the things JBS is doing for you. It's paying for your schools. Go become a CPA. Do all that, because that's you. You're learning some skills out of here that JBS would love for you to always be around, and hopefully maybe one day make partner.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you get to choose. You know what I'm saying? You built you the same way the company uses you, use the company. For yourself, for your growth.
100%. You gotta have some kind of passion behind it and like what you actually do. And shout out to Felix and Francis as well, my lead technicians. The reason why I mentioned them is because they do exactly that. It's like, you know, they understand the vision, they understand the importance of what we do. They go out there and execute. And to me, it's priceless to still have them around.
Yep.
However, I always tell them, every time you come in, still to this day, they're learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning still to this day. So I tell them, every time you come in, don't just let it go over your head like this is a simple task. Learn it. Learn whatever it is that you're doing, because you can go from here to another company and get paid even more.
Correct.
Who knows?
Who knows? You never know.
Who knows? And you know what? That's one thing about me, that I'm in this for their success as well.
Yeah, 100%.
I had a young technician work with me. His name is Wilfrey. Shout out to Wilfrey as well. He called me one day. He's like, Ronnie, I got a good job opportunity at a union. I said, you know what? Give him my word. Give him my phone number, my contact information. I'll put in a good referral for you. And I did just that. Still to this day, he's in his union. He's getting paid big bucks.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't mean the business is going to stop operating.
Yeah. You're always going to have people who want to work for RJ installations. You just keep building people up. Right. Shout out to Felix and Francis, like you said, because I do know them personally as well. And they're OGs, and they do great ass work.
Great, man.
You know, very, very professionals. So yeah, shout out to the whole team, bro.
Shout out to the whole team.
Shout out to the RJ installation team. Man, you guys, I was personally involved with you since day one. I remember also when we started like doing the legit bookkeeping and passing it to team members. Now, you know, you get touch points with like 4 or 5 different people, you know, and that's amazing to see, from starting an LLC, telling you, yo, just start making money, to now seeing a whole big operation with a whole team, your whole family.
Thank you, man.
You know, this is, I'm very, very proud
Thank you.
of the company you build, and more importantly, the man you have become in 5 years since I met you.
Thank you.
You went from being, you know, just a young person looking to grow, looking to hustle, to a business owner slash father, husband. You've done shit. You've lived your life. You had the sports cars. You've done all the stuff that when you saw me do 5 years, you did it. I saw you sold the sports car. Same way as me, sold the sports car. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when we hit 50 years old, we'll go through midlife crisis, buy another one. But right now, we're on growth mode.
Right now, we're on
So
growth.
shout out for you for that, man. Shout out.
Man.
So shout out to RJ Installations, my brother.
Thank you so much.
You know, man.
Peace. Boom.